One of the most insane features in Pokemon Pokopia are Dream Islands because you can get legendary Pokemon to spawn right at the start of your game that you can actually keep. Not only that, but you can also get items that you can use online in multiplayer to spawn in almost any Pokemon you're missing. You can also farm a ton of habitat clues in the game, and you can collect a ton of extremely useful materials. Seriously, there's going to be a lot, so subscribe, hit that like button, and let me put you on. First, let's talk about how to unlock Dream Islands. Dream Islands are actually unlocked right at the beginning of the game in the first environment. And this all begins at nighttime when you go to the west side of the area from the Pokemon Center. You'll find a wild static Drifloon just floating around. All you have to do is go ahead and talk to it. It's then going to want to follow you and come back to town. Now, this Drifloon has two big requests that you have to do. The first one is create a habitat for it. It's going to have 3 campfires next to each other. You can have them right next to each other, tell a fire Pokemon to follow you, like Charmander, and light them up, and you're going to be done with that first request very simply. The next request that Drifloon has is it needs to see a Poké Doll. And if you haven't been exploring the island enough, Drifloon points towards the east direction. There is a Poké Doll in that location. All you have to do is just acquire a Poké Doll and then approach Drifloon, and just like that, you've now completed the 2 requests that Drifloon needs, and you can successfully start to go to Dream Islands. Now, at the start of the game, there are 3 Poké Dolls that you can specifically find. The first one is going to be Eevee, and 2 others that you could find by breaking blocks with little treasures in them are going to be the Substitute Doll, as well as a Ditto Doll. Now, here's how Poké Dolls exactly work, and they have a couple of rules. Rule number 1, Poké Dolls do not get consumed when you are talking to Drifloon. They are permanent items. All you have to do is just place them down, interact with them, and the Drifloon will show up. Number 2, when you do go to a Dream Island, you can revisit the same island over and over again, but it's the exact same generated island. If you picked up any items there and you revisit, those items will be gone if it's within the same day. If the next day happens or you decide to date skip while you are inside of a Dream Island, nothing happens inside of there. You're still stuck in the same generated island and there will be no consequences there. The only way to get a different Dream Island or a different spawn of the same Dream Island is for you to progress forward to the next day in your game, or you can just open up your Nintendo Switch and go to time and settings and just do 1 day skip and boom. You can now date skip into another Poké Doll. Also, real quick, I'm not judging anyone who plays the game in real time or people that decide to do time skipping. It's whatever you want to do, it's your game. I just want to present both options because both players exist. Now, Poké Dolls in general can be found sitting down in broken houses. They can be purchased from Pokemon Center shops once certain amounts of progress have been made in your environment level. And like I mentioned before, they can be found as treasure in glowing blocks. So if you're having any trouble, make sure that you're checking all 3 of these things. Now, there isn't really shiny hunting in this game because you get 1 of each Pokemon, but what this game does is going to blow your mind, especially if you are a shiny hunter. We are now going to be legendary Pokemon hunters, which I think works really well for this game because it involves resetting, so you're going to like this. Now, before we get into the part about how to hunt down legendary Pokemon, I want you to really understand how these Dream Islands work so you can do this successfully. The first Pokédoll that we'll be going over is going to be Eevee, which is the one at the start of the game that you can do immediately as soon as you get it. So I'm going to call for Drifloon here and we're going to head over to this specific Dream Island so I can pretty much explain to you what you can do here. Now, when you interact with Drifloon, it's going to give you the 3 main materials that you can find. Now, Eevee is going to be for the Wasteland Dream Island. You can find the Leppa berries, the vine ropes, and you can find glowing mushrooms here. I think the most important item out of all 3 of these are going to be the glowing mushrooms because you can find Leppa berries in trees, and certain Pokemon drop this with their specialty known as litter for the vine ropes. Now, once you know that you're selected that island, you're locked in for the day as I mentioned before, and you'll be on your way there. Now, once you arrive on the island, I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview with a Ditto ability that you do get later on in the game, which is Magnet Rise. It just will help me get through this a little faster for you guys. So when you go up in the sky or when you're exploring around the area, you're going to notice a few things. One of the first things that are specific to Dream Islands is going to be these little seashells on the floor here. They look like seashells, but when you pick it up, it says that it's Stardust. Now, when you pick up Stardust, you'll get a notification in your game telling you that you can turn Stardust into a star piece. You're going to need 99 Stardust in order to turn it into a star piece. Now, here's where it comes in handy. Star pieces are specifically for you, for your own world, for Pokemon that you don't own. So for example, if I open up my world to multiplayer and I have someone visit my island and they are bringing a Pokemon that I don't have, I can then interact with that Pokemon, give them a star piece, they'll give me an item in return, and all I have to do is just find any empty habitat that's not occupied. It doesn't matter if it is the same Pokemon's habitat that it's supposed to be, or if you just do a little 2x2 grass. Once you open up that gift in that habitat, you'll see a little bit of sparkles there that look a little different than your usual sparkles in the game, and then all of a sudden that Pokemon will show up in your game. That's really as simple as it gets. This is limited to certain Pokemon in your game, so most likely unique Pokemon and legendaries you're gonna have to find on your own, but every single Pokemon that's not tied to the story, you'll be able to just bring it up in here by doing this trick. And I do want to mention we do have our Discord server open for this, so if you're looking for a Pokemon and you want to make friends and you just want to complete your decks, hop in there. Just like you can get a Ceruledge or an Armarouge in the game, and maybe you need the other one. Who knows? All right, Discord links in the description and in the pinned comment. Let's keep moving on though. Now I am going to go over the other stuff on the Dream Islands, but before that I do want to show you how you can get your legendary Pokemon, because I know that's why you clicked on the video. So like I mentioned, there are 2 cave systems. So when you're running around the island in general, you'll find maybe one crack over here, and you're looking to try to go deeper to find a legendary Pokemon, but you'll sometimes run into these rooms where you'll be able to find these human relics, where you'll be able to get different hairstyles, you'll get little information about different characters, so your character will just get different costumes. Like this blue costume I got a silver costume. There's just tons of costumes that you can get, and you can also find emotes on here. There are tons of things that you can get in the caves, and even if you come back over and over again, there are tons of things to discover. This is just the first crack I'm in, and what you want to do is pretty much just circle the entire island until you do find a second one. And if there's not a second one, well, then you probably just have a very tiny cave system in this one, and you just have to go date skip and come back until you find a different one. Now, because I couldn't find the proper cave system, and this is pretty much what it looks like to reset your game until you do find a legendary, you're gonna probably, if you're far away, because at the early game you don't have flight and all that, you're gonna hit the home button just like this, and the home button's gonna bring you back to Drifloon, and Drifloon you then go all the way back to your main base. So I'm gonna fly back just like this. Now, once you get back to your island, all you simply have to do is a date skip. And listen, I have no shame. I'm testing things. That's why I date skip over here. So we're going to go and do a date. I am at 4:20. That is so funny. 4:21, 8:06 a.m. You're going to go back to your game just like this. The game is going to go black screen like this, and you will appear wherever you are. If you have a home base, you'll appear in your home. If you just have a Pokemon Center, you will appear at the Pokemon Center. You can go ahead and then you can go and talk to Eevee again. Drifloon will come down, and then you can head right back to the island. Okay, arrived at the second island. You can see it is different than the first one. It definitely looks different. If we drop down over here, oh yeah, this one's definitely different. There we go. We got some yellow Pokeball here. And real quick, yellow Pokeballs that you find within these areas could be Pokemon ingots, or they could be habitat information. Now, if you just want to spam this and do it over and over again, that's how you're going to find habitats. Trust me, I got like over 100 habitats by just doing this again and again, so you can find the right Pokemon you need. This one has a second cave system, as you can see over here. It says, "Hi, Dad. After finishing my homework, I'm going to Yuri's place. She's going to show me a Pommy video. I'm going home kind of late. Love, Natalie." And these are just little artifacts that you can collect. Now, you know that you are finding the correct area within this Dream Island when the cave system starts to look like this. As you keep going down further and further, for Suicune specifically in the game, you're going to notice that there is going to be an ice block that looks like this, and it leads to the altar where it is. But I was freaking out when I saw this, and yes, you can do this at the start of the game, literally as soon as you can start hunting it. The only thing I did was complete the first area, so if for some reason you want to be a little extra careful, beat the first environment of the game and then go in there. But it's insane that you can get Suicune right at the start of the game. It simply just follows you, and you could leave the island and put it inside of a habitat. Also, a quick fun fact: the more comfort level you raise of a legendary Pokemon, it has a greater impact on your environment level. It's a really big deal. So having a legendary Pokemon is a fast way to increase an entire environment. So that's the big bonus tip when it comes to Suicune. So good luck if you're doing legendary resets, because it could take you a long time or it could take you a short time. time. Let me know how many resets in the comments, but we still have more to talk about on the island. Now, whatever dream island that you are on, a big thing that you can do is always grab the flowers that are here. This one's pretty basic because you can find them in other areas, but look, there are orange flowers over here that are not too common. Make sure you take your rototiller and just go ahead, grab that, put that in your inventory. Maybe you'll come across some specific berry trees here that you don't have. Go ahead and grab some trees while you're here as well. Now, there's also another big thing that you should do when you're visiting any single one of these dream islands, and that is loot everything, right? I talked about looting all the Pokeballs to get items, grabbing these yellow Pokeballs to get environment clues and to get Pokemetal, but you can also go over to things like these farms, grab these roses. In fact, hey, you want an extra waterfall? You don't have to craft it, guys. You can go ahead and just take it, yeet it, and that's it. You have that with you. You come back, you want to take a lamp with you, you feel like you need some chairs, grab the chairs. And there's also little houses and structures. This is very consistent throughout all of the dream islands, just like this one over here. Go inside this house. I see some tables. And, oh, there you go. Another Pokemetal ingots that you find over here. Maybe I like this door. I'm taking the door, right? Take the windows. You can take every item within an environment. Now, this is just the Eevee doll, but I think all of you understand the core aspect of how a Dream Island works. So the rest of the islands, we're going to fly through them. Something surprising about Dream Islands is that Ho-Oh and Lugia feathers can still fall down while you are here, and they do make their appearance. Also, before you leave Dream Island, make sure that you grab these cast form charms that are at the spot where you arrive. You just have to climb up the ladder and grab them. Now, something that you should be aware of is that if an event is running in your game, like the hop-up event, there is a possibility that this could affect legendary Pokemon spawns because of the map generation in order to do other things. I personally suggest hunting for legendary Pokemon not during an event, but someone in the comments can confirm if they found a legendary Pokemon while an active event was happening. The next doll that we'll be talking about is going to be this Pikachu doll. Now, this Pikachu doll can be obtained from Bleak Beach. From the Withered Wasteland, you're going to head over east to the Bleak Beach. Now, once you're on the Bleak Beach from that Pokemon Center, you're going to make your way all the way over to this location. Now, if you're just entering Bleak Beach for the first time, it is going to be a little dark there. But the Pikachu is going to be located in the spot if you just follow along this pathway. There's the Pikachu doll. You secured it. And what Pikachu does specifically when you inspect it over here, we're going to call for Drifloon, is going to have access to some items that are interesting. Now, the island for this is going to be the Ocean Dream Island, and the things that you can find here are twine, which you can find in Bleak Beach itself, sea glass fragments, which could be a little difficult to obtain, but there's ways of getting them on beaches, and seashells. These are the items you get. So basically, Pikachu, just think of Surfing Pikachu. Anytime you're like, oh, I need this items, Surfing Pikachu, and then you can remember that by going here. Now, the same principle, like I said, applies to even this island. This one, you can see that you're going to have electrical poles over here. So you need some electricity on your island. Go ahead and just grab that. You get harbor poles. They're all brand new items if they show up. Look at that. I got a chic sofa, a chic. I think it's chic. Grab a vending machine. All these various items here. Now, you're going to do the exact same thing by rotating around the island and go and find a little crevice just like this. And drop down. And I'm going to be honest with all of you who are watching this. I have not yet found any legendary Pokemon specifically for the Pikachu doll yet. The next ones that I'm going to be talking about, though, I did happen to find a legendary, but wouldn't it be crazy if we found one on camera like right now as I'm doing this? So if you see any blocks like this on the floor, go ahead and punch it. You never know what you'll find below. Oh, look, a Pokeball. We got a music note. Great. Oh my god. Anyway, I was saying I couldn't find whatever legendary Pokemon was here in the Pikachu Island, but it looks like this is exactly the structure you're going to have to find for whatever legendary Pokemon is here, which I'm going to find out what it is right now. Okay, it looks like Raikou is the Pokemon that you find over here on the Pikachu Island. So let me be clear, this is a legendary Pokemon that is tied to the story of the Bleak Beach. So most likely this interaction will happen once you complete Bleak Beach if you somehow reset for this. I'm going to be honest, guys, this was not expected at all for this video. I literally just did the Pikachu thing in front of you right now. I'm going to skip any dialogue to avoid spoilers, but you can get Raikou and pretty much you can say you got it. And wow, this is crazy that this just happened on video right now. I just got the legendary Pokemon Raikou. Raikou. Are you serious? So my wife's next to me freaking out because how did this happen? Pretty much that's what you're looking for on Pikachu Island with Raikou. I'm so happy I went here for the tutorial. I was like, I'm going to show some old B-roll of me failing at it. But there you go. You can get Raikou on this island. I'm going to head back now with my Raikou. But most likely for this Pokemon, you have to do the story. But keep doing resets and checking the caves just like that. We're going to just do that because I did not expect the legendary dog to show up. She can't move that in the tall grass. Was not expecting that to happen. The next two Pokédolls that I'm going to be talking to you about is going to be right next to Pikachu. And these two are actually grouped together. The Clefairy doll and the Arcanine Pokédolls. Both of these Pokemon's environments are pretty much going to be the exact same ones that you're going to be finding in Rocky Ridges. So Rocky Ridges you can find on the top left from the main environment. That's where you're going to enter in. And if you didn't know, if you didn't watch Phillybeatzu's giant early game tip video, it is an environment that you could access the exact same time as the Bleak Beach. So you can technically get all these Pokédolls all together at the exact same time. If you have trouble finding it, again, go through the story. Maybe at a certain story point, the Arcanine will be a block that will glow and you could probably buy it from the Pokemon Center. But let's specifically talk about Clefairy because I would like to test out my luck again. Call Drifloon in. I want to go to Dream Island. And the island for this one is going to be Rock Peak Dream Island. Now, this one's important because the things that you can find here are mushrooms. Mushrooms are not a very common thing that you see unless you are in this environment or going to Rock Peak Dream Island. You could also farm yourself some copper, which is pretty important for material making and things like that. So get a ton of copper over here and limestone. And if you didn't know, you can process limestone into concrete. It's an important thing, but concrete machine is unlocked a little later, but I just want to point out that that's what limestone is really meant for. Anyway, let's get into showing you the environment. Now, for this specific area, I'm gonna, hopefully this doesn't happen again. That'll be crazy if it does. I have not found any single legendary Pokemon here yet, but the legendary Pokemon you're going to find here is most likely going to be Volcanion because it's the exact same environment where Volcanion shows up. And I got the other legendaries of the other dolls, which I will talk about after. So now I'm convinced Volcanion's this island. So if you can find Volcanion, good luck. As you can see, there are specific trees here that you can collect. You can also pick up the different grass. I really suggest you bring that to your own personal island. They have buildings like this over here, where they have crates, they have little water basins. So if you need water basins for Pokemon to water your farm, you got that over here. All right, and just for science, this video is not scripted. Here is another cave system that I just found. So we're gonna go check this one out here. This one looks pretty promising to me. Hopefully it's deep. Okay, this one might lead to a dead end here. So this is one of those dead ends you'll find here in this cave system. You end up with these ice. If you find it in the first area, you find this, you're pretty lucky because that's around where the Suicune area is. In other environments, it's not as special. And I'm coming around over here, and here is a second entrance over here. This one looks a little more promising over here. So you see a bunch of lime. Ooh, we're dropping here. We see a bunch of limestone, and we can see that the cave goes pretty deep in. Now, I've been resetting this area a lot because, like I said, this is the last Pokemon I don't have. So what I've noticed a lot about this cave system in the Rock Peak Dream Island specifically is that you'll always will encounter these little walls over here that block out the pathway. And then you'll think you found something crazy and it just ends up being this pedestal with a Pokemetal ingots or just another environmental habitat clue. Also, fun fact, your Ditto can squeeze through these little tiny crevices. Pretty nice. Here we go. And then you can go further down over here. I'm pretty sure we're going to find an outfit or costume or something. We're getting close to it. Oh, look, we found a CD. We found a music CD. And you'll pretty much find a music CD, or you'll find a little cavern with a little door. And when you go inside, you'll find an outfit as well. I found a lot of outfits, emotes, and hairstyles as well in this Dream Island. But if anyone has luck getting Volcanion, just make sure that you do complete the storyline for Volcanion where it does show up. And then you can go visit this area and see if he does show up, because that is a story-based legendary Pokemon. Now, the next Pokédoll is going to be Arcanine, which is connected to the same exact Rocky Ridges because it has to deal with a lot more materials that are tougher to break. And this part is progressed further in Rocky Ridges when you get access to cooking, which enhances moves like Hitmonchan's Rock Punch, so you can deal damage and break things a lot faster. You're going to need that for the materials around this area. A quick, cool recipe that I suggest that you use is going to be a potato hamburger steak. Just always carry this with you. When you're going to Arcanine's island, which is called Volcanic Dream Island, we'll go over the stuff there. But the recipe is just basically you need a bean and you have to have a potato. Just one potato in it and you get like this crazy power up of Rock Smash. This is OP. Potato and that's it. It doesn't matter what the recipes are. If you go through the Rocky Ridges storyline and complete all of that, you'll know exactly what I'm referring to. If you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to cooking, go to Rocky Ridges and then come back to this video after. So for Arcanine, it's going to be the volcanic dream island like I mentioned, and there's things there like iron ore, you're gonna find gold ore, and you find this really interesting glowing stone. Pretty cool. So let's head over there. Now, one of my favorite things about the Arcanine or the volcanic dream island is specifically the fact that there are little volcanic ashes in this area that you can break and keep. There's little sparkling ones, there's a lot of gold ore, but specifically what I really like is this building right over here. Always pro tip, break these when you see them. Look at that, we got Vermilion City seeding. Okay, if you go up here in Arcanine's area, the volcanic island, you'll always find this stained glass area, and you can find these guys over here. So these mysterious statues, we have these mysterious pedestals, and these are also extremely important. They're relic items that you can find in the game, ancient relics, and they're here for free when you come to this island. So always pick them up. I think they're cool designs, and you can grab Pokemetal ingots, and I think you should definitely go ahead and grab all the church glass or whatever this Poke glass is here. I think it's cool. You should take it for your base. The more glass, the better. You could probably build something really cool. Now, I want to point out when you try smacking something here with the regular Rock Smash, this is why I told you to make that cooking recipe. Your character is just gonna, I can't break it. So when you have that exact potato hamburger steak I showed you how to make earlier, boom, 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 you're all powered up and you can just break through any of the rocks in the area if you need to get over to Entei. That's right, because a legendary Pokemon here is Entei. So pretty much I already got this before doing this video, so I'm going to just cut to the part where a couple hours ago Phillybeatzu found the Entei, and here's what it looks like. Professor Oak's laboratory. I literally just got that too before segueing that. What is that room? No shot. Oh my okay. Oh my god, no way. Oh my god, there's no way. Are you kidding me? No way. Now, before we move on to the final plush, I do want to talk about these little guys over here, the Ditto and the Substitute Doll. These are very interesting ones because when you interact with these specific Poké Dolls, Drifloon is going to come up to you and tell you that it's going to be a random island of its choice. Now, the random islands that you get, you just can't get access all the random islands from the start. These random islands are only based off of islands you've previously visited or have the Poké Dolls for. I tried it in the beginning of my game. I did not magically go into Arcanine's environment, but if for some reason it happens, let us know in the comments down below. Maybe these two have extra bonuses to give you higher chances of legendary Pokemon. I don't know. This has to be tested out by the community, so I just wanted to point that out specifically when it comes to the Ditto doll and the Substitute doll. Now let's talk about the Dragonite Pokédoll, which is going to relate to the legendary Pokemon in the final area of the game. And if you don't want to know what that Pokemon is and you're worried about spoilers, I will let you leave right now. For all the people that do want to know, I'm not going to spoil the story itself, but you're going to know the legendary Pokemon associated with this. The legendary Pokemon that you can find in this area is going to be Mewtwo. Now, Dragonite specifically is going to be based on its environment, the Sparkling Skylands, which is the final environment of the game. And when you want to go to Dragonite's Dream Island, the specific items that you can find over here are going to be waste paper that can be converted into paper, Poké Metal, which is the rarest metal inside of the game, and crystal fragments, which are specific blue crystals that you could break in the game and get these. Again, this video is not meant to just be like, hey, here's how to get every legendary Pokemon. It's to really show you exactly what it may look like as you're approaching the legendary Pokemon, because it's going to involve a lot of day skipping, or if you are naturally playing, you can only approach one legendary a day, which is a crazy task. But I really feel like date skipping is only cool for legendary hunting in the game. Getting a pretty quick idea of how this area looks, let me hop into my Magnemite to get this fast and done. You can notice that the area is very high. There's a lot of big areas here. You have pink grass, you have different flowers, and you have these tower-like structures that you can also steal stuff from. I definitely suggest you go ahead and loot anything you see in the area, especially these little blocks and other things, especially if that's kind of your vibe when you're looking for Pokemon in the game. Now, just the same way on the other islands, you're going to pick up any yellow Pokeballs if you need to, because those are going to be habitat information and rare Pokemetals, and you're going to go ahead and just drop down into this area and see what you get. Now, in other islands, finding these metals is a very rare occasion, but now that you're reaching more of the end area, it's more exciting to find. So pretty much you want to find an area that can go deeper and deeper. This one's pretty cool because you can probably get deeper here. This is interesting. Are we actually going to find the environment on one shot here? Okay, looks like this one isn't it. But I do have a clip of me finding the Mewtwo, so you can take a look at this clip and see exactly the environment. It actually looks really interesting. It's a weird border that Mewtwo is actually in. So go ahead, take a look at this. This is metal? What's in this? Oh my god, this is the legendary room, isn't it? Wait, oh my god, that's Mewtwo. Is it right here? Oh my gosh, this is the entrance. But what is the dialogue of Mewtwo? Because Mewtwo is a story-related legendary. Hello, Mewtwo. We meet again. Now, quick PSA for everyone. Based on the dialogue of Mewtwo, it's most likely going to take place after you encounter Mewtwo in the story. So if it doesn't show up or some reason you get the Dragonite plush ahead of time, assume that it will show up or the island will generate the Mewtwo afterwards. Now you know exactly how Dream Islands fully work, so good luck legendary resetting out there or just waiting one time a day to hunt the legendaries. You know how to get them, you know which environments have them, so good luck. And if you found this video helpful, you should probably hit that subscribe button. Like, come on. I'm the first guy to probably show you all of that. Also, check out this video on your screen over here. It's probably a really good Pokopia video. Seriously, go watch it.